Our next guest is a sustainability strategist. She's working for UN even, and she has 17 years of experience from the fashion and retail industry, H&M, among those employers. And she worked and lived in Bangladesh, China, and South Korea. She's in Stockholm now. Please welcome Nina Shariati. Where are you, Nina? There you are. Welcome.
Oh, wow. Hi.
Oh, hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm nervous. Look at this crowd.
Yeah, it's
wow.
huge, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I
Yes.
just need to take a minute and take it all in.
I love your socks, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Like bright
I forgot
green.
to shave. No, I'm just kidding.
But you are in the fashion industry, so that's what you guys do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of flair.
Circular economy is something that you feel very warmly about, right?
Yes, I do.
And I want to know what is it really? I think we all have some kind of fuzzy picture about it.
Okay.
But if you would like, just
Yeah.
walk us through it.
That's definitely a relevant question. I want to start by asking the question to the audience. So, how many of you actually know what circular economy is?
Come on, be honest. Liars.
But that's really good. I've been giving lectures at a School of Economics, Handels, the past 4 years as a guest lecturer, and I've been asking the same question every year. And I see that the amount of hands being raised are increasing, which is fantastic. But there is still a need to inform, I guess. So basically, when we talk about a circular economy is based on 3 main pillars. The first one is to design out waste and pollution. The second one is to keep products in use for a long time, as long as possible. And the third one is to use and regenerate natural systems. So whenever you're done with that product, it should become part of the ecosystem that already exists. And unfortunately, for the longest time, we humans have separated ourselves from the natural ecosystem. And we need to kind of find our ways back to that system, because the way we are living and consuming, it's not very beneficial for the climate. I'm sure a lot of you are agreeing with that one.
So we have a circular economy coming up a little bit, like, you know, trying to push the other system out. But if we take it like from the viewpoint of a blouse.
Yes.
So let's say a blouse or a shirt or trousers in the old economy.
Yeah.
And you compare that with trousers from the circular economy. How would that?
That's a great question. So let's say the current economy, and this is applicable for, I would say, everything that we are producing right now. It's basically you start with an idea or a design of a product, and you sketch it, you source the materials, you produce it at whatever scale that is necessary depending on the demand, and then you can ship it around the world for the consumers to purchase it, whether it's online or in stores, and then it comes into our hands, right? And we buy it and we use it, and according to different studies, we normally use it maybe 7 times in average. And when we are done with it, we actually discard the garment. So basically, we take a lot of resources to create a product that we use for a really short time, and then we throw it away. And this is putting a lot of pressure on our ecosystem right now. It's creating a lot of pollution in the air, but it also creates this massive garbage mountains that you all have seen. So the solution to that one, or the necessary shift that is needed, is to shift from this linear system to a circular system. And it's basically taking the beginning and the end and bringing those knots together. So that means that already in the design stage, you need to start looking into how you bring back that product when you're done with it, and for it to be for you to be able to easily pick that product apart, so it's being pushed back in a recycling system and it becomes a new product. And before you do that, of course, it's really important to create systems and business models that enables consumers to use that product for as long as possible. So for instance, when an iPhone is broken, maybe you want to fix it, or a garment is broken, maybe you need to set up solutions that you first fix the product. And second, and then there's also other business models, and maybe you can sell it to someone else, you can lend it to someone else, or you could give it away before it's ready to come in back to the system and be recycled into a new one.
I love this. When you did that, the beginning meets the end,
Yeah,
right?
it's super easy, right?
Yeah. So that means too that when I buy something or when you design something, you need to know that these materials, let's say it's different materials in a blouse or something, that they go together, or and that they actually can be recycled and stuff like that.
Exactly. So one of the biggest challenge right now, if we take the fashion industry, is that there are a lot of a fabric that you use is a mix of different materials, and these materials are quite hard to separate from each other. So how do you keep that in mind at the design stage for you to be able to pick that garment apart? And that's just one part of it. There are so many components. Just take a shoe, for instance. I think there is around 72 different components that goes into that shoe. How are you designing that shoe in a way so that you can easily pick all these different components apart so that they can be recycled?
And for us as customers, if we want to be, if we want to know what the clothing come from, and if we want to be good consumers, right, and buy the best stuff, we need more than just this blouse is 100% cotton, right?
Yeah.
So we are also talking about in the circular economy about traceability, that we know where stuff come from. And the company name, I lost it, but I recently did an interview with a woman who worked with traceability, and it was traceability for shoes. So you could actually see where the cow had been walking around. I mean, now your shoe animal had been walking around in which, field.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a little bit morbid in a way, right? Because the cow is not now dead, now on my feet, right? But it was...
it brings it closer to you. It becomes more real.
But is innovation like that? Is that important to know where our clothing come from?
Yes, absolutely. So as I described for you, one of the biggest enablers or necessities for circular economy is actually to know what has been going into that product. So for instance, let's say when you're done with it and you return it to a recycling place and it comes back to the recycler, one of their biggest challenges is to actually know what's in that product. I mean, because the information on the label is not always there, but also when it's there, it's not enough. So then the question is that for that to become efficient and scalable, and for us to be able to recycle at the scale that is needed, we need to have transparency, we need to have traceability, we need to know what's in the product down to chemical level and where it's coming from. Yeah, absolutely.
But Nina, that sounds like an amazingly big challenge, right? Everything should be transparency and traceability. Is it possible even?
It has to be possible. I mean, the shift from, let's face it, the shift that we are looking into, going from an economy setup that we have been optimizing for the past 200 years to shift that towards a totally different one in such a short period of time, it's a huge challenge. But the transparency part it's really important, and there are organizations out there that are already looking into it. One of them being UN CFACT, that are developing a suggestion to standard towards that exact question.
Hey girl, you just missed to mention that you are one of those experts working for the UN.
Oh yes, yes. I'm one of many experts, and I think they have done a great job in bringing a lot of experts to the table to actually look into this, because so another important angle to this challenge is not just for any company to start being transparent. Like it needs to be standardized, because all these garments will be collected from multiple different brands globally, and it will like move around. So we need to have a same set of data that is being transparently shared in the same way. Across industry.
And this is what you are working on with the
Yes.
UN group. And
Yes.
UN, I'm pretty impressed actually that UN is doing something so progressive. I mean, maybe I have a very, I think that they are not very efficient sometimes, but they also a very big organization, an old organization, like is that bureaucracy and stuff in the UN, or how do you feel about working there?
I could just talk about my current experience, and that's actually a very positive one. I became part of this group sometimes last year, and the timeline is to have a first draft ready by June this year, and the final version the year after. So for anyone who has been part of any type of cross-industry standard development or even a suggestion, that's quite a short period of time. I would
It's
say.
very impressive.
And I'm very positively hopeful towards this result. I feel like they're doing a really good job.
Can you give us a little picture in our head about when all you experts from all over the world are meeting and sitting, and somebody's, no, I don't think about that. That's not a good idea. That's a great idea. Or do you agree?
I'm like, have you seen Star Wars? No, but absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of it, because, I mean, for us to tackle this shift from linear to circular, one of the main points is collaboration, because not a single person, organization, or brand or government have the power or the solution. So you have to be able to collaborate. And this group, I think they have something around 200 people who are involved, and we are talking about members from NGOs. We are talking about tech enablers, blockchain experts, business experts, all kind of different brain power that comes together with the same mission. And I think, it becomes quite powerful place to be part of. And of course, we don't always agree. And sometimes you get annoyed and irritated. But the important thing is that it's being moved forward.
But such a cool job to be part of that group, And I'm happy you are.
I feel very privileged, yes.
So, last question. I want to ask you, you are obviously very engaged in this subject, in circular economy. So I was wondering, how hopeful are you that we actually will get to the point where we have a fully circular economy?
That's a great question. And for the sake of transparency, I will say that I'm cautiously optimistic. And that has to do a lot with the changes that I've seen just over the past 5 years. 5 years ago, when I was trying to convert certain products from conventional to recycled polyester, I was being called tree hugger. Which which I actually took as a compliment, because I love trees. But going from that to having people engaging with you, organizations setting bold goals and actually putting aside money and investing in these questions. And I always mix it up with the American one, but the new Green Deal, like the EU Commission package in terms of addressing these questions and sustainability issues, one of which is circular economy, makes me actually hopeful, much more hopeful than I've been before.
I love that. Big applause for that, right?
Thank you.
We have a couple of minutes, so I'm sure there is so many questions for you. You've been a true inspiration here for 15 minutes soon. Does somebody want to ask a question? We have a microphone. Or are you busy to run to
Ask
the big
a hard
stage?
one.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, a hard one.
I don't know if it's a hard one for you, but
I don't know. Oh.
hi.
Hello.
I work with writing about small companies. We're actually going to have a panel next week. I'm Malin. We've only emailed. Yes, weird.
Oh, hi.
So in my point of view, at least in Sweden, I can tell that at least I see a lot of small entrepreneurs that are making difference, that are like pushing in the right direction if we're talking about circular production,
Yeah.
circular economy. Not just I'm thinking about what you think the value will be. I mean, the power will be like more important that large companies or large organizations work towards the circular economy, or will we actually see more action, faster movement in Sweden through the help of small companies? Any
Thank
ideas?
you.
Like
That's a good
startups?
question.
That's a
Brave
great
startups.
That's a great question, and I think, I mean, to address the question is that, I mean, we need to. This is a huge challenge, and everyone needs to be engaged. Everyone from big corporates to small corporates to citizens to consumers to academia to legislators. And sometimes I feel like, isn't it Greta Thunberg that says that there are no small actions? So I think those small actions might lead to innovation that a big company then take over and actually scale it up. So there's space for everyone, and we all need to take that responsibility. So there's
And
no
thanks to
action too
Greta.
small. Thank you, Greta, actually. Yeah.
We can stay a little bit longer, but we have to switch over this broadcast to the big stage. So thanks for us, for everybody who's doing. No, not if you sit here. Sit. We can continue a little bit if you don't want to go to the big stage.
Okay. Can
But
I?
everybody wants to go to the big stage.
Am I
yeah,
allowed
of
to?
course.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
sorry. Okay, she has one more
Okay.
question.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My question would be, it's really great to think about the production.
Oh, sorry.
And there are, at the same time, in the circular economy, something which falls between the chairs, and that's logistics. So who is going to address the question of sustainable shopping of a fashion, not buying 15 and returning 14, and producing a huge footprint on logistics in fashion?
Can you repeat that last part? I didn't really hear that. So who's responsible for the logistic part of it?
Yeah.
I mean, my answer again would be that this is a common challenge. Sometimes for now, logistics is not my part of expertise, but sometimes you need innovation, and when you have that innovation, then you need to invest in those innovations to actually bring it back into organization and accelerate it and scale it up. And that's a huge responsibility that both investors and companies need to take. And I would say that's my answer. I wish I had a better answer, but logistics is not my part of expertise, unfortunately. But I would love to discuss this more with you afterwards.
Thank you so much, Nina. Now the audience left because I was pulling out the time, but whatever. This is nice.
Yeah,
you know,
is
we're an
super
intimate
nice.
group now. So thank you so much, Nina.
Yeah,
A
thank
little
you.
applause.
Thank you. Thank you for me.